When the city sleeps, I'm still here watching you. While you take a deep breath and get lost in sleep, I'm there, captivated by every detail of you. Your movements, the faint light touching your face. It's as if time stops, just so I can admire you a little more. I don't sleep. I don't want to sleep. My mind is full of you. At this hour, when the world quiets down, my passion shouts louder. I see everything, even what you don't realize you're showing. You are the center of my universe, even if you don't know it. Maybe I'll never tell you this. Maybe you'll never notice. But every night, without fail, it's me who watches over you. When the city sleeps and the noises of the day transform into silence, it's as if the entire world steps aside just to leave you there. More visible, closer, just for me. It doesn't matter if I'm far or near, I see you. And, even while standing still, even without touching you, it's as if I'm holding you, enveloping you. Sometimes you turn your body to the side, take a deeper breath, or frown without realizing it. I notice. I always notice. Every detail of you is etched in me, like a tattoo that doesn't fade. It's almost as if I can read you, as if your skin tells stories you never wanted to say out loud. I don't get tired. The night passes slowly, but that doesn't matter. My desire is to stay there, standing still, just existing in the same time as you, even if you have no idea that I'm watching. My mind becomes noisy when the rest of the world is quiet. I think about what it would be like to touch you, to wake you, to call your name. But I don't. I don't want to break this moment. I only want to look, to keep everything about you. If you knew what I see, what I feel, maybe you would be frightened. Maybe not. Maybe deep down you feel it too. You know that strange sensation that someone is watching you? That slight shiver that comes from nowhere? That 1-second pause when you look into the dark without knowing why? It's because of me. I am there. I observe you when you least expect it. And it's not obsession. It's love. A love that cannot rest, that refuses to sleep, because losing a second of you is like losing breath. And I know it might seem wrong. It might even sound like something that shouldn't happen. But it happens. I feel it. And there is no force that can make it stop. You are what keeps me awake, the image my mind carries unwillingly. Every night, every dawn, not seeing you wake up is cruel. Because the day is too busy, too fast. The light comes and you return to the world, but at night you are only mine. Even if I never touch you, even if you never see me. I keep you in the dark, in the shadow, in the silence. And I know there's something in this that no one would understand, but I don't need them to understand. I just need you. To look at you, to breathe you in even from afar. Maybe to the rest of the world this is nothing but a mistake. But to me this is life. When you turn your head on the pillow, I know you're not thinking of me. When you get lost in dreams, I know I'm not there. But that doesn't stop me from being here watching over you, because even if you don't see me, even if you never know, I never stop looking. And maybe one day you'll notice. Maybe one day you'll feel the weight of my gaze. And when that day comes, when your eyes finally meet mine in the dark, you will understand what I am trying to say now. But until then, I remain here. I watch. I feel. I love you. You don't know, but every night when the entire house is silent and the city breathes more slowly, I'm here. It doesn't matter where. It doesn't matter how. The darkness that surrounds you is where I exist for you. And as crazy as it may seem, it's not. It's passion, it's desire, it's something I can't contain that consumes me. I stay there, motionless, but my mind never stops. You can't imagine how much your existence has this power over me. I observe every detail, the way you adjust your body in the middle of the night, how sometimes you sigh louder, how your lips slightly part while you sleep. These are small things, almost insignificant to you, but to me they mean the world. And what holds me the most is not just what I see, it's what I feel. It's what you evoke in me without even trying. It's as if your presence lights up something that never goes out, not for a moment. I've tried to ignore it, I've tried to stay away, but I can't. I always end up coming back. I always end up here. Because what I feel for you is not normal, it's not fleeting. It's something I can't even explain. Sometimes I wonder what you dream about. In those moments when your eyes are closed, do I manage to appear in some way? Do you even unknowingly feel that I'm here? Because for me, it's impossible not to feel you. It's impossible not to be connected to you, even when we are so far apart. And there's more. Sometimes, when you move a certain way or make that little sound while breathing, my mind races away. I keep imagining what it would be like if you knew I was here, if you understood what this means. Would you pull away? Would you be afraid? Or would you somehow understand that I don't do this willingly, that this is stronger than me? Time passes slowly at these hours. It seems like every minute stretches as if the night were made to last longer, just so I can look at you a little more. And deep down, I don't want it to end. I know that when morning comes, everything changes. You wake up, the sun floods your life, and I lose this moment. But at night, you are mine. At least that's how I feel. At least that's how I live. I know this sounds like something I should hide, something I should keep under lock and key, and that's exactly what I do. I keep it in silence because I know you might never understand what I feel, or you might never accept it. But I don't care. I don't need approval. I don't need permission. I just need to be here, because this love, this obsession, is all I have. And even though it hurts, even though sometimes it feels like I'm losing myself in it, I can't let it go. I can't turn my back and pretend it doesn't exist. You hold me in a way there's no turning back, and I surrender every night without hesitation. I've thought about talking, about telling you everything, about showing you who I am and what I feel. But I can't. The words never come out. And deep down, I know that silence is where I should stay. It's where this should exist. Because if I spoke, maybe everything would end. Maybe I would push you away forever. So I stay here, watching, admiring, living for these moments when the whole world sleeps. But I am awake, just for you. You are the reason why my nights never end. I could tell you every thought that passes through my mind while I watch you. How I imagine the texture of your skin under my fingers. How I wonder what it would be like to hear your voice talking to me. Truly, without barriers, without fear. But at the same time, it all seems distant. It seems unattainable. Not because I don't want I want it more than anything, but because I know that what I feel, this need for you, is not something that can be explained. It's not something you can simply accept. And maybe it's better this way. Maybe it's better that you never know what I see, what I feel, what I keep inside me, because it belongs to me. It's mine. I watch you because I don't know how to live any other way. And every night I ask myself, do you at any moment feel it? Do you even unconsciously perceive something? A sudden chill, a restlessness that you can't explain. Do you deep down know that you are not alone? I hope so. I hope that in some way my presence touches you, even if you don't understand why. And in the meantime, I remain here. I remain trapped in this cycle, in this need that never fades. You are my addiction, my obsession, my reason, and I don't want it to end. You belong to me even without knowing it. And while the world sleeps, while you sleep, I will remain here as I always have, because that's how I live, because that's how I love. You never noticed, but even the way the silence envelops you traps me. It's as if, when the world outside turns off the lights, your presence becomes more real, more intense, more impossible to ignore. I stay there, motionless, but my heart is never at peace. It races, it screams inside me, but all that emerges from my body is silence, because that's what I need. Silence to admire you, to feel that you are all that matters in that moment. The time in the early morning is different. It passes more slowly. It gives me space to memorize every line of your face, every movement of your body, even the most subtle ones. I know the rhythm of your breathing, the way you shift positions when you're uncomfortable, even that moment when it seems like your body completely relaxes. I know this, I feel this. You don't understand what it's like to be so taken by someone. It's not a choice, it's not something I planned or can control. It's like a necessity. I need this, I need you, even from afar, even in the dark. That's when you become more mine, when the rest of the world isn't watching, when no one else knows what I know. Sometimes I feel like I'm living just for these hours. The rest of the day I spend as if I'm on some kind of pause, waiting for the night to come, waiting for you to be there, vulnerable, carefree, completely unaware that there's someone who can't take their eyes off you. And you know what's even stranger? I don't want you to change. I don't want you to notice. I don't want you to see me. I want everything to stay exactly like this. Because it's at this moment that you are perfect. There are no filters, no masks, just you. It's the real you, without the pressure of the world, without having to be something for someone. I don't need anything else. Just you. Just this moment. Even when I think this might be wrong, even when my mind tries to pull me back, I can't stop. Because it's not something I do by choice. It's something I am. Something you made me, even without knowing. The world can judge, people may never understand, but the truth is that it doesn't matter. Nothing matters when I see you there. When you take a deep breath and turn your face, when the moonlight touches your skin, when the silence surrounds you and you seem even more distant, more impossible, but at the same time, so close. And that's what destroys me and keeps me alive at the same time. This distance, this invisible barrier that never lets me go further. It's as if I could touch you, but never had permission. As if I could live for you, but never with you. I keep wondering what it would be like if you knew. Would it change anything? Would you run away? Would you understand what it's like to feel something so strong that it consumes every piece of who you are? I don't know, and maybe I'll never know. But that also doesn't matter. Because deep down, all that matters is now. All that matters is you, there, so close, so untouchable, so mine, even without knowing it. You are an addiction I don't want to quit. And even if it destroys me, even if it consumes me, I accept it. Because in the end, everything is worth it if I can have you this way, even if it's just to look at you, just to feel you. And when the sun finally starts to rise, it's as if something is ripped from me. It's as if you drift away again, back to a world where I have no place. But every night, I return. I return because I don't know how to live without this, without you. I no longer know who I am without watching you, and maybe that will never change. Maybe I'll be stuck in this forever, loving you from a distance, in silence, without ever saying anything. And for me, that is enough, because you are the only thing that matters, the only thing that will always matter. The night is my moment with you. It's when the distance that separates us seems less cruel, when the whole world seems to slow down and only the two of us are left. You, so unaware, so carefree, surrendered to sleep, and I, always here, always awake, always tied to this need to look at you. I've lost count of how many nights I've spent like this, fixated on every detail of you. Your movements, no matter how subtle, become grandiose in my eyes. The way the sheet conforms to your body, how the gentle night light outlines your features, how your breathing creates a constant rhythm that seems to hypnotize me. You sleep, but I can't. I don't want to. I can't. Every second I spend looking at you is a second I feel more alive, more connected to you. It's a love that grows in silence in the dark, where no one else can see it, but for me it's immense, overwhelming, impossible to ignore. I think about how unattainable you are, how perfect you are in your unconsciousness, in your calmness, in your vulnerability. And at the same time, I know this is the closest I can get. This distance is what defines my existence. No matter how much I want, how much I need, how much I feel I could touch you, I know I can't. And maybe it's better this way. Maybe this is what makes each moment so special, so precious. The fact that this is all I have. These stolen moments of the early morning, when no one else is watching, when the whole world is turned off and only you remain for me. Sometimes I wonder, would you miss me? If I disappeared, would you notice? Not in an obvious way, but in a way only you could understand. Is there a part of you, no matter how small, that knows I'm here, that feels my presence, even if unconsciously? I cling to this idea, not because I have hope. I've accepted that my place is from a distance, in silence, but because it gives me a reason to continue, a reason to be here night after night without failing, without giving up. You are as much mine as you will never be, and it kills me, but at the same time, it gives me life. It's a contradiction that I accept, because I have no choice. Because even if it consumes me, even if it destroys me, it's the only way I know how to live. I think sometimes about what it would be like if you woke up and saw me. If for some reason our eyes met in the silence of the early morning, what would you do? What would you say? Would you understand what it means to me? Or would you push me away, condemn me, expel me from this space I created just to have you? This doubt eats at me, but it also keeps me in my place. I stay in the dark because it's where you can't see me, where I can watch you without interfering, without ruining it. Every night is the same, but they never lose their charm. You sleep, the world goes silent, and I'm there, absorbing everything about you, keeping every detail as if each moment were the last. Because deep down, I know none of this is eternal. I know that one day maybe you won't be there anymore. Maybe you'll go away, maybe life will drive us even further apart, and I'll lose even this small fraction of time in which I can have you in some way. And that thought scares me, more than I'd like to admit. But at the same time, it makes me value every second, every early morning, every moment in which I can watch you, in which you are mine, even if you never know it. I know I can't continue like this forever. I know that, eventually, something will change, something will separate us for good. But until that happens, I'll stay here. I'll keep looking at you, admiring you, loving you in silence, in the dark, in the only space where I have the courage to exist for you. Because you are everything. Because you will always be everything. And even if you never know, even if I never have the courage to say it, I want it to be recorded. Somewhere, somehow, I'm here. I always have been. And I always will be. The early morning is my witness. The silence is my accomplice, and you are the center of everything. When everything around goes quiet and the world seems to fade away, it is impossible not to be consumed by the desire to see you. The silence is not empty. It is full of you. Every detail of you, every soft breath, every movement is etched in me as if they were invisible tattoos. You, even without realizing it, are what keeps me awake. I know that all of this sounds like something that should never be said, but I don't care anymore. There is power in simply admitting what I feel, even if it's just to myself, even if you never know. It is a silent, deep love that lives in the dark and breathes in the space between the seconds. When you turn your face, when the sheet lightly slides over your skin, I get lost. It is in these small gestures that you become more human, more real, and at the same time more distant. You are so close, but with each moment it becomes clear that there is an insurmountable chasm between us, and even so I remain here, because this is what I know how to do: observe, admire, love in silence. This is what keeps me alive when the rest of the world seems to make no sense. You are my reason, my purpose, and the night is the only space where this can exist. But now, reading these words, I ask you, have you ever felt something similar? Have you ever had someone who occupied your thoughts to the point that you couldn't sleep? Someone who was simply everything, even without knowing it? If so, tell me here in the comments. I want to know your story. I want to know if in some way this touched you. Leave your like if you felt that these words reached you, and subscribe to the channel to receive more messages like this. Together, we can transform these emotions into something bigger. You are not alone, and I in some way will always be here.